is facing serious questions this morning over the safety of its aircraft after one of its MAX fleet suffered this terrifying mid-air blowout. The Alaska Airlines plane is one of almost 200 now grounded, all of them to be inspected before they can fly again. For more on this, we're joined by aviation safety expert David David, thanks so much for your time. So many questions about this. One of the main ones, do we know what caused it?
I'll tell you, no one knows anything yet. It's just still early to know what's happened here. But we don't know that it was anything. Basically, what I'm asking myself is who touched it last? Yeah. Did it come from the factory this way? I think that it's kind of strange to think that it would have, because there were some pressurization issues before, but it flew for several weeks, 8 or 9 weeks before this happened. So if it was improperly installed, you would think it would have come off before now.
So this sort of thing happening, I take it it's not common because you don't see it very often. So is it a freak accident?
It's either a freak accident or it was a human error of some kind as far as the installation goes, but it does not happen. This isn't a common occurrence whatsoever. Very much a freak accident.
Thankfully, there wasn't a passenger sitting right hard up against that door or that window, but how dangerous was it for passengers sitting close to it?
It was very dangerous. It could have been much worse had they been up at 30,000 feet or 28,000 feet at cruise altitude, because the pressure differential is much greater at that point. At this point, the pressure differential was enough where when the door came out, it was just a matter of being uncomfortable, being cold, that sort of thing, and the wind blowing by. But it had to be frightening to have to sit in your seat and watch that door open all the way back down, not having any idea what had happened at the time.
So the US government has moved pretty swiftly, it must be said. They've grounded these planes until they're inspected. How long will that process take?
Well, each individual aircraft has to be inspected, and the airworthiness directive, the emergency airworthiness directive issued by the FAA, is not very specific about what needs to be done. It just says you have to do something before you can return it to service. So until they actually look at some of these aircraft and figure out what needs to be done, we'll have more information about that. But from what I know right now, to take off that interior panel, put the aircraft out of service for that time, and access it from the outside with the jacks and all the things that need to be available to remove it, it's going to be about a 4-hour job from what I know about my mechanic background.
Hey, David,
so it would be at least 4 hours each.
This all follows that horrible accident in Japan with the JAL aircraft and the Coast Guard plane. What would you say to nervous flyers this morning?
Well, just remember that you're flying in the safest environment in the world, both in the United States and through Australia, and you are safe. It's more dangerous to be in a car driving on the highway than it is in an airplane. There's nothing systemically indicated here. There's not like every aircraft is going to fall out of the sky. There's no issues with what's going on routinely. Just remember, these are isolated incidents, and you look at them individually and they look absolutely horrific for the people that were involved and had to endure those things. But you have to understand that that's one in millions and millions of flights and millions of hours that are going on right now. So I would say I still feel safe. I still fly on the airplanes. I'm not going to change my flight patterns at all or where I go. So this is just to be looked at as an individual freak accident at this point.
Thanks for the calming words, David Soucie. Appreciate your time.